The following podcast is provided by Era Living, innovator in residential retirement options since 1987. And welcome everyone to Answers for Elders Radio Network, heard across the USA and on your favorite podcast channel. And we are honored again to have an amazing resident with Era Living. And you know, this is one of the really coolest things about listening to Era Living's podcasts, because if you're looking to move into a community or something like that, it's nice to hear the real story from the residents. And we're very honored today to have a resident from one of my favorite communities at Era Living, the Lakeshore, which is near Renton. And this is Shirley Hofmeister. Welcome to Answers for Elders, Shirley.
Thank you so much.
You have quite a background. You've done a lot of things in your life. I was reading your bio. You're a retired teacher. You did fitness. You managed, different types of, medical facilities, things like that. Tell me a little bit about your past life before you came here.
Well, past life goes back to being a wife and a mother who adopted children. And then as they were young, I did a stay-at-home mom. Then when they were ready to go to school, I went back to my teaching career, and I ended up having a 30-year teaching career.
Oh, wow.
And then there was time in there when before we adopted the children, and before we adopted them, I did some fitness work with Jackie Sorenson way back when.
Oh, wow. Wow. Well, good for you. And then you came, you retired, obviously, and then you decided to move into retirement living. Tell me about that process.
Yes, that was good. My husband and I lived in a condo. We had already given up our house and moved to a condo. And he said to me one day, one of us is going to be left alone someday. And why don't we start looking at senior communities so the one who's left alone will have a community, we'll have activities, we'll have friends who will belong. And so we went out looking. We viewed a couple places in Vancouver, Washington, and we ended up in a community that we loved very much. And just before my husband passed, the community was bought out. So things changed there. And my daughter said, "Mom, why don't you live close to me in Seattle?" And my apartment was empty without my husband. It was time to move on.
Right.
And so I moved, she brought me to 5 communities in the West Seattle area. She showed me Lakeshore, and every community I went to, I said Lakeshore, and she showed me another one, because Lakeshore was farther from her house than West Seattle was. And I finally said, one day she took me out to dinner, and I said, "I've made up my mind." And she said, "Okay." I said, "It will be Lakeshore." And she said, "Okay, let's do it." And so I came in and found my room, did my walkthrough, found the room that was perfect for me, put my money down, and here I am, and loving every minute of it.
Oh, I love it. And this is, I have to say, when I walk into the Lakeshore, it's such a hidden gem, because people don't realize how beautiful this community is. And I mean, you're at the hub of this wonderful lake area with a marina and all kinds of stuff around you. It's a fabulous facility, and it's beautiful inside. And I know that they have, I remember my last visit, it was not too long ago. I was in there with the therapy dogs, and they were so, the residents loved to meet them and talk to them and different things like that, and the activities that go on. It's just amazing. So now tell me a little bit about, as you were, let's go back, and you decided to go to senior living. What was that process like?
Well, I think the process was scaling down, letting go of some things that we thought were so important, and they aren't when in the reality, when you get to senior living, your life is your community. Right. Your life is your activities, and all those things that were so valuable, you don't even miss. So my husband and I did a big purging, and probably the most difficult thing for me in the end, when we got into senior living was, oh dear, it's Thanksgiving. How can I host my kids can't come home for Thanksgiving. I don't have
Yeah.
a home for them to come, but that's wrong. I did have a home, and they were very open to giving us one of the rooms reserved for my family to have.
Oh, nice.
My daughter brought the turkey down from Seattle, and she cooked it in my kitchen, and we host. I also have a son and a daughter-in-law and a 2.5-year-old grandson. But so now I get to Lakeshore, and sure enough, when my family wants to meet, Lakeshore has provisions to let us still
Yes.
celebrate as a family.
You know, and that's, I think, important, so important, because families are, you know, still the core of who we are. And, you know, bringing people together and having them experience your community where you live, I think is pretty special. How's that been? How's your family reacted to it?
My family life is absolutely perfect. My son would prefer I stayed in Vancouver because that's where he lives.
Yeah.
He has been up 3 times, and my daughter comes every week, if not twice a week, make sure I have everything I need. So I'm still very connected with my family.
Yes, yes, and absolutely. I know that with your family, you know, just having that access. I know when my mom was in senior living, it was so important to me to like bring family recipes to, you know, on her birthday where people could get together. And, you know, it's really nice to be able to feel like you're a part. And I think the other side of it too is that you're obviously very still independent, but there's a lot of challenges when seniors get older, or they get, you know, they start to, you know, need help, more care. I think the thing is really good is having that staff like what you have there, that understands and knows you really well and can help the family, support the families in the process. And I think that sometimes is an important piece of that. How have your children adapted to that? Did they have interaction with the staff a lot?
Oh yes, my daughter just loves it here. She just, Mom, that is the place for you. We know how happy you are. And
Yeah.
so she's done terrific. She comes often, and she loves eating in the dining room with me. And so at least once a week, or every other week, my daughter and her husband will eat in the dining room with me.
Yeah.
And
Awesome.
I can look forward to that. That's a big thing for them. And my son, he had trouble because I moved away from him and his little 2.5-year-old, our grandson. And I'll tell you a funny story. He went in my apartment, and I said, I love my apartment. It's so beautiful. Look at the trees and that little house up in the corner. I just see that trees and that cute little house. And he says, Mom, all I see is a roof. I said, oh, I've never seen a roof. I said, I don't pay attention to the roof. I pay attention to the trees and that little house up in the trees.
Well, and that's it. It depends on what you focus on. And we're just actually going through a process called spiritual wellness. This is part of our wellness series. And it's really what you focus on. It's how you live your life. And that's the thing. So just, Shirley, tell me a little bit about a typical day for you at the Lakeshore. What goes on there?
It's wonderful. I have many friends. In 2 months, I have so many friends. It's wonderful. Well, 4 of my friends like to walk, and I also like to walk. And so 7:30 in the morning, those who can walk that day meet downstairs, and we head out for an hour's walk. And we do it somewhere between 50 and 60 minutes. And then when we get home, it's time to look at the calendar. What are we going to do today? Yesterday was bingo, and yesterday was Watermelon Wednesday, and yesterday was trivia. And
oh my gosh, now what's Watermelon Wednesday? I want to know that.
Well, Lakeshore's doing a wonderful thing during the summer, keep us hydrated. And every Wednesday we have slices of watermelon. And yesterday we were out on the porch. And so we went out on the porch and we ate watermelon. It's a social time.
Yeah.
And I had a very busy day yesterday.
Yeah.
And it's a typical day. I like to play bingo.
Uh-huh.
I like to do all of the activities. I'm not very artistic, so I haven't gone to the arts and crafts. But that doesn't mean I won't.
Yeah.
Let's give it a try.
Yeah.
And they need volunteers today to get ready for the luau, and it's an arts and craft project. I
Mhm.
may go down. I just love being with my
Great.
friends.
Yeah.
So many.
And you've met friends that sounds like just it's wonderful for you that you have a community around you.
I do. I love community living. I really
Well,
do.
I think it's amazing. And so what advice would you give to somebody that is thinking about moving into senior living? What kind of advice would you give them?
I would say it's time. If you're a senior, it is time to move to community where you have your friends, your activities.
Mhm.
You don't have to mow the lawn anymore. You don't have to think, what
Yeah.
am I going to cook for dinner anymore? Those are
Mhm.
big things when you're a senior. All of a
Yeah.
sudden, I don't I don't want to cook dinner anymore. I want to go to
Yeah.
the beautiful
Yeah.
dining room and sit with my
Yeah.
friends and eat.
Well, and what I love is you came into this community, vibrantly still independent, right? So you
Oh,
had
definitely.
an opportunity to integrate and be involved and not be in a situation where, a lot of times people put it off and then they don't have the same opportunities to, to thrive in a community like you do. And so I always encourage people, do it before while you still can make those choices and have have fun and build a community, and then you can feel comfortable to age there, and that's the thing that's most important.
Yeah, we were in our
So-
70s when we moved into community living. 75, I think. Now I'm going to be 84. And so all of those years,
wow, you
Wow.
sure don't look it, my friend.
I'll be 84 in October, and I'm proud of it.
Good for you. Good
Yeah.
for you.
But we moved in our 70s because we could. Number one, we made our decision. And it's kind of fun to make our own decision rather than the kids say, okay, you're losing it, Mom. You're going to put you someplace where, they can take care of you. We didn't have to go through that. So
That's so cool.
my advice is make your decision while you're young and able, and
Yes.
enjoy the community living.
Yes, yes. Well, Shirley, it's been such a pleasure to have you on the program today. Thank you so much for being here.
You are so welcome. I'm happy to be here and
And
to share wonderful news of community living.
oh,
I love my Lakeshore.
oh, I love that. And for those of you that are really interested, let me tell you something, everyone. The Lakeshore is one of my favorite communities, seriously, out there. Get an opportunity to go look at it. And certainly you can reach Era Living through the Lakeshore through the Era Living website. That's www.eraliving.com, or just call them directly at 206-772-1200. Thank you so much, Shirley.
You are welcome. Thank you for having me.
Era Living is locally owned and operates 8 premier retirement communities in Seattle, Renton, Mercer Island, Bellevue, and Issaquah. From vibrant, independent living to compassionate assisted living to secure memory care, Era Living respects and honors older adults by enhancing the quality of their lives. Learn more at eraliving.com.